So it is premature and it tries to divert the matter now. We're just talking here about the confidential funds and also about the concurrent capacity, the commission of offenses of the Vice President in their concurrent capacity as Secretary of Education. So let's not talk yet about whether or not worthy, whether or not credible, whether or not totoo yung sinasabi ni Marliaga. We have yet to hear from him, aside from his sworn testimony, or sworn affidavit. So, that's out of order, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Honorable Santay.
it is necessary to raise this because his affidavit is attached to the complaint and it is relying on heavily. You know,
Nevertheless, the Honorable Santay, please be reminded that we are only at the stage of the sufficiency in substance. We are not discussing yet the weight of the evidence attached.
Yes, I know, Madam Chair.
The point of order is sustained.
Madam Chair,
thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, just a quick rebuttal.
The Honorable Shua.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I agree with
The Honorable Shua is reminded to refrain from further commenting to the manifestation which has been the subject matter of the point of order of the Honorable Dilima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this is just a recital of facts. By the reading of the affidavit itself, titignan po natin kung meron na po talagang offense charge. At maliwanag naman po dito, meron pong perang nilabas, as cited in paragraph 1, in paragraph 1, 2, 3 of the complaint. And ito pong 125 million na binabanggit dito, sinabi rin po sa paragraph 125 ay pinasa sa kay certain Dante La Chica. At dito rin po sa paragraph, dito rin po sa complaint na to, maliwanag sa paragraph 134 na sinasabi po ni Madriaga na siya po yung kumuha na itong pera at diniliver niya. So meron pong money trail na hinahanap po tayo. Now, bakit po nakunik ang Vice President? Kasi po, sinasabi rin po dito sa paragraph 150, sinasabi po dito na yung pong pagpapasa ng pera from the SDO to another na wala namang pong koneksyon ay upon the instruction of the Vice President. Now, dito rin po sa affidavit, nakalagay rin po dito at dinefine din po dito kung ano po ang definition o element ng graft and corruption. Nakalagay po yan sa paragraph 146. RA number 3019, paragraph 3A, penalizes public officers who persuade, induce, or influence another public officer to perform an act constituting a violation of rules and regulation. Definitely, yung pagpupunta ko ng pera from one person other than the SDO is a violation of rules and regulation. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before I call the Honorable Santay, let me finish first with the list. The Honorable Dasag and then the Honorable Acosta.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Article 2 likewise fails to meet the constitutional threshold of sufficiency in substance. The issues raised, particularly those concerning confidential funds. Under Joint Circular number 2015-01, audit observation memoranda and notices of disallowance were substantially discussed during prior deliberations. Nung in-apply ng committee yung standards na ito during the PBBM proceedings, sinabi nun na ang preliminary audit findings are not final adjudications of liability. Audit observation memoranda and notices of disallowance remain appealable and subject to administrative and judicial review. Kaya standing alone, kitang-kita na these do not establish graft malversation or betrayal of public trust. Rapid liquidation by itself is not per se unlawful. Cash handling is intrinsic to the nature disclosure of confidential intelligence funds. What must be pleaded are ultimate facts of unlawful conversion, personal appropriation, manifest bad faith, or a specific amount personally received by the respondent. Pag binasa yung complaint, wala naman naka-allege dito na essential elements. Puro inferences lang ang meron. Inference is not an ultimate fact. For these reasons, Article 2 likewise fails the insufficiency in substance threshold. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next is the Honorable Acosta.
Madam Chair, while I agree to the Congressman Lazal and Congressman Bongson-Tay that our findings are not criminal judgment, but are highly relevant in this discussion on whether or not pleaded facts in this court complaint shows an accountability breach. Our test here today with the members is whether the court complaint pleads objective audit red flags, which is the ultimate facts decided, supporting betrayal of public trust and that of graft and corruption, Madam Chair. The second question, Madam Chair, is for the two gentlemen who, Pastor Abante and Congressman Ortega. In their pleading, Madam Chair, one of the beneficiary value is JC number 2015-01, and in relation to that, notice of disallowance addressed to the DP dated August 8, 2024. My question, Madam Chair, is whether or not Annex G2 or the notice of disallowance August 8, 2024 have already attained finality.
Would you like to comment, Honorable Abante? He's asking about the status of the notice of disallowance. I believe this is the 73 million of the Department of Education.
I think, Madam Chair, that the COA would have what the right to answer that, us, because they are the ones that actually gave,
Honorable
allowance.
Acosta,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
are you done?
Madam Chair, would be able to just answer the manifestation of Congressman Sundar.
Before I call you Honorable Abante, allow the chair to call first the Honorable Sundar.
Thank you. Just a quick reply to the statement made by our good friend, Rep. Joshua. Yung nabanggit niyang pera that went to exceed and past hands, that shows movement of funds. It is not a proof of illegality of use of personal appropriations of the said funds. In fact, the VP is a high-ranking official. And she relies heavily, and as well as other officials, on her subordinates, accountants, unless it can be shown or it can be proved that she personally fabricated the receipts, she received the money, or she had gain from those funds, then I believe that the allegation is not substantial. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,